right, good morning, new future builders, my crew of the empowerment group. It's good to have you here watching this video. I know Elias may try to hop on later. If you get here before I'm done, then great. I am a bit under the weather. That's why the voice is as it is. So I'm keep the energy up as long as I can and get this rolling. Elias posted a great question last week in terms of improving writing. So I figured I would make this all about writing. We kind of started that conversation when I was talking with Tamara. So why not continue on with it? And I'll kind of review some of the points I made last time and then also add in some new things. First, because I did do a challenge this week on teaching in order to learn. I did look up some tips that many of them I knew, and some of them I hadn't really thought of. So I thought I would teach some of those, again, being 100% transparent. And then I'll throw in some things from what I'm studying as well outside of this, and then get into some points that are very much my impression on writing and why I write the way that I do. So as we break into it, I have some notes so I can keep track here of what I want to touch on. So don't worry, I don't have a super memory yet. Okay. Writing tips. Again, writing tips. This is about writing. Writing tips. First and foremost, write clear, write short, write clear and concise. You want to make sure you're not wasting the viewer's time and the reader's time. So you want to make sure that you're writing shorter. You want to capture that attention span as long as you can. If anything like me, I don't have the largest attention span. One of my favorite books. Let's see. Do I have it? Oh, I will read it again. I loved it, and it works for me because it was from Depop. As you can see, all right, from Depop. Now, the magic of this book is, you see how thin it is? Okay, the book has a total of let's see, it's only 100 and some pages. It's in the low hundreds, about 111 pages here. Easy for me to ingest, digest, think about, take action on, and most importantly, I can read it again without investing a ton of time and really think on the points and actually put them to work instead of spending my entire year trying to read the book. So this is how I operate. So my book is very short. The one I did, very short. It is even shorter, 78 pages. Pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. Again, the information is broken up, nice and short, nice and sweet, and I kept it to the point. So short's good, it works. There's context with that, obviously. Short is good though. Rewrite in the passive voice. This is the one point where I hadn't thought much of, yet I understand. You want to ensure that you're letting your audience know who the actor is and what you're writing. So making sure you really pinpoint the key actor, the key subject. The way that the article I found, and I'll post the article, is, and I'll give you their example because I like their example. It's pretty straightforward. The one example is, let's say there's an article that says the new ingredients are steadily being added to the job matching mix. Okay, rewrite that sentence as startup companies keep adding new job matching techniques. See, one of those things is very vague. You're not sure exactly who the actor is, who's taking the action. And the second one is very clear who the subject of that sentence is. And so you want to write in a manner that makes it clear on the subject. And so I like that one. That's something I haven't thought of enough and will certainly keep in mind as I move forward personally. So again, it's not just about me. I'm not the perfect writer. I think it's all about us growing and building a new future. So that was point number 2. Point number 3, remove filler words. Pretty straightforward. It's when I think of a filler word, even in writing, there are words that don't add value. Just like when you speak, when you say, I just went out yesterday, or I only do things a certain way, or in general, just little filler terms that yes, they can add color to the text. They may not necessarily have any strength to them. They don't modify anything in a very relevant way. When you say I just went out yesterday, you could say I went out yesterday, and it's the same sentence. Okay, same sentence. It doesn't, the just doesn't add any value. So you have to look for words that don't add true value to what you're saying. Remove those things. You're saving your reader attention. Okay. Use stats the right way. So I don't know if you ever read a white paper, a research paper, and you get stats and numbers every single second, and you'll read other things, read blog posts. Not that it's bad. There won't be any supporting statistics. I don't use statistics much when I write because I think statistics can be ingested separately of the writing. I also think depending on what you're writing, stats are very good. So it depends on what your audience is. In my opinion, I think stats are very useful, very important, very good thing to use to sprinkle in. They add power and position and context to what you're saying, and adds authority as well. So stats are a good thing. It depends on what you're writing. Again, it depends on what you're writing. A lot of my blog posts I've written are more emotional based. I'll get into that, and so stats aren't necessarily the end all to making it work. Okay. Use pronouns. I, we, you. Use pronouns. Another thing I haven't thought about yet, I understand, is that your reader has to understand their position in the writing. Okay. They must know where they stand, where you stand, where the subject and the context stands. They want to know their position. We don't want to just walk into a room and not know who we're having the conversation with or who's speaking. You ever walk into an area and you can hear a voice, there's a voice over the intercom, and you're figuring out, you want to know who's on the mic right now, who's talking right now. Are they talking to me? Are they talking to everyone? Are they up on the stage? Are they in a back room on the other side of the building? I want to know, right? It's kind of like that. You want to know where you stand in the context of what you're writing. You want to know where your audience stands. So make sure you use pronouns effectively in the right way. So you can I, we, you, those kind of things. Examples. Give examples. That's the next point. Give good examples, whether those examples be in the form of stories, be in the form of statistics, the form of current events. Give examples, things that add strength, and don't do too many examples. Give examples. Okay. Straightforward thing. Sprinkle it out. And then signposts is another good one that I haven't thought of yet. I understand and I kind of see. And it's amazing as I read some of these and as I look back at sales pages and white papers and those things, research papers, you kind of see signs of these tips that I haven't really reflected on very much up until this point. And so signposts is mainly being clear about mapping out where this is going to go. So having a thesis statement, introduction that talks about what this piece is going to be on, or talks about what this email is going to be about, or what this blog post is going to be about. And then being straightforward about, hey, this is what you're going to learn in this particular order or in this section of the piece. It's okay to do those things. It's okay to guide your reader with signposts, essentially telling them where they're going and what they're going to get when they get there. And then it's kind of their navigation system. It's kind of the map of your piece. So you want to make sure you do that. It's useful information. Okay. So those are basic writing tips as I flip over my note sheet here, my little note sheet. Okay. Those are the basic writing tips, all based off of an article I'm going to post right now and I like the name of the website. Not that I didn't search hours and hours for the perfect site. Okay. I did find this one and it worked. I like the points. It kind of goes along with what I already knew. So I didn't feel I needed to research for 20 hours to find articles. I'm posting this now. Let's see. Article on writing tips only some of the info I shared on the live broadcast. So you guys get to watch me as I do this. Very entertaining, I know. It's okay. It is okay. So that is there. Boom. All right. Now, I'm starting with some things because, so you know, I'm studying NLP, studying some kind of, there's some aspects of hypnosis that I'm studying that are related to making change in the mind. All it is for me is about changing mindset and understanding how we can make that happen. Been doing and trying some self hypnosis on myself when I meditate in the mornings, and I've been enjoying it. Actually, I actually like the process. So there's some things I've been learning with that. Though when I think of NLP, as that relates to how you write, and kind of what I was getting to last week when I was telling Tamara that, hey, when you write, you want to bring in as many senses as possible. So NLP, you know, they name the five senses as visual, auditory, kinesthetic, feels, olfactory, which is olfactory is taste, and olfactory is smell. Then there's gustatory, which is taste. So those are the five senses. NLP brings those things up because when you're thinking of NLP, it's neuro linguistic programming. It's how your mind works. We use the senses. Our body, pretty much our mind, processes our universe and how we perceive things based off of the senses that we bring in. And so the more senses that you use, okay, the better you're relaying a sense of reality to your reader, if that makes any sense. It's really tapping into that and I'm sorry, I'm scrolling to make sure that I'm right. Olfactory, smell, gustatory, taste. Okay. It's making sure that you are helping them craft an imagination, that they are literally going through what they're reading mentally and they can see it as a picture. Your experiences are simply pictures when you really think about it. Everything that you do is really just it's a picture. It's how your body and your mind is processing the information, you're taking it in, and you're simply how your eyes are taking things in, and you're mentally having to reconstruct that picture in a way that it makes sense. Okay, that's why some folks can be colorblind and some folks aren't. So you aren't really seeing the world. You are seeing how your body has processed the world and the picture that is now showing you. That's exactly what you're seeing. So if you're insane or if you're on some type of medication, whatever that medication is, that's why it's possible for you to not see exactly what's happening, because in your body, you're really just seeing what your body's processing. Okay. So you want to make sure that whatever you're writing is allowing your reader to process in a very, very visual way. So the more you can add to that picture with the senses, the main senses are VAC is the acronym, so visual, auditory, kinesthetic. So visual, what they hear and what they feel, even inside, are the main senses. So when you write, you want to make sure that you are incorporating those senses as much as possible. I was writing out a email sequence, and I'll read one for you. That I'm gonna be having for my so if you come in as a new subscriber, I'm gonna try to use this email sequence to essentially, to send out a newsletter and occasional email. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm downloading this now. I have to work on this today anyway, so I need to download it again as I transfer things between emails. Okay, so as that comes up, you want to make sure you're incorporating it. Okay. All right, so an example, my first email. Okay, I think I had first email, I kind of left pretty basic. My second one is asking for feedback. And in one section in there, it says, I said, I need your feedback. No nice pats on the back needed. I would love to get you more of what you want, so please let me know. Whether it looks like a shiny gold ring or stinks like a Mount Everest-sized dung heap, let me know. And so what did that just do? All right. said shiny gold ring. So now you're thinking shiny gold ring, bling bling. It's shiny gold ring, and then you may even try to picture that ring on you. Okay, maybe go that far. Depends on how it works, but you may think of how that ring feels, or how it actually makes you feel in that moment. So again, I'm trying to get some extra unintended senses in there in terms of sight, feel. Okay, I didn't um, do much thought. I didn't do much hearing in this one. But then I did Mount Everest-sized dung heap. So smell, dung heap, stinks. Again, visual, Mount Everest. Okay, I want to make sure that I can take them on a journey. So I kind of do that with everything. I have to try to get in some of the senses. Sometimes I can get in all five in a way. Sometimes I can't, or I don't. It doesn't say can't. I just don't. Okay, it doesn't flow in with what I'm doing. So I work with what I have. That's one way to do it. Okay, another good one, and this is where it comes from, kind of conversational hypnosis. I'm learning. There's and at first when I was looking at the stuff, and and this is my own experience, is I'm like, wow, some of these things can be really dirty and unhanded, and if these things really work, then you could really do some damage to people. I thought about that at first, and then I realized also through study that people, even though hypnosis is seeming like it's controlling you, it doesn't force you to do things that you typically wouldn't have done. Typically, okay, it depends on you, the person. Okay, depends on you, the person. If you want to see things that people have been made to do that they wouldn't have typically done, look up Darren Brown. Uh, Very great content. I watch him and model him, starting to model him. There are things, though, when you look at other people's writing, okay, I realize this is getting long, but there's a lot of good information here I want to get you all. So feel free to watch this in sections. Okay. This concept of pacing and leading. And that kind of directs straight to the signpost point when I was listing out the tips from the article, is that pacing and leading is this concept of telling your audience where they are, telling them what they feel, and then kind of guiding them in a direction. And so I didn't think I was, when I read that, I read the signpost portion, and I thought of pacing and leading immediately, because I realized that marketers do that fairly often, where they tell you, you pull up a sales page and say, oh, you're sitting there on your computer wanting to make money, you're wanting to be successful, you're wanting to have financial freedom, and then you're telling yourself, yes, that's right, and you would say, but you're reading this and you have doubt. And what they do is, in the process, they pace you, which tells you, okay, this is where you are, and they lead you in a direction. Now, as you're reading this, they would say something like, now as you're reading this, you're getting more confident. You're getting, you're finding these tips more useful. You're finding these things, a tool that you can use to change your life and become more successful. And so you kind of see these in sales pages, because they kind of take you through this process of, here you are, this is what you're feeling, and this is how I want you to feel now. Okay. Believe it or not, that's kind of the process they take you on. And so depending on what you're writing, you can kind of take your reader on that same journey of saying, hey, technically, or at least understand this is where they are, right? And you take them on a journey thereafter of how they can feel. Okay, so it's pacing, lead. And these are different things. It depends on the context of what you're writing, that you can use. I'm just giving you as much information as I can. I know I'm over giving in a way. You asked for writing tips, and this is the empowerment group. And so I like to give more than less. And that's the benefit of being here, is that I can take that time to do that. So I'm taking that time to do that. On to the next point, and kind of directly from that, is the emotion standpoint. And that's something that's very much me. I like to write in a way, and this is very contextual. If you're writing a blog post or you're writing your own book, it's going to be different than you writing a research paper, right? I like to keep things as a conversation. I want someone to feel like they're just talking to me. So I keep things simple. I keep things very simple, and make sure that whatever I'm writing takes them through certain emotions, just as I would take them through emotions in person, All right, if I want you to laugh. I want you to get angry with me, get upset with me, get sad with me. And so I'm going to write in a way that brings in all the senses, that kind of paces and leads you a little bit. And then I want to lead you into the emotion I want you to feel. Not because I'm trying to manipulate you. I want you to understand the situation I'm giving you so that way you can fully experience what I'm writing and fully understand where I'm coming from. And you can't really fully understand where I'm coming from if you don't have a little bit of emotional attachment to the piece. And so that's the process I like to go on. The other reason I write in such a conversational tone is because it's easy for people to identify. You process it as a normal conversation instead of you feeling like you're writing some long piece. It feels like you're just talking to a buddy, or a buddy's talking to you. And so you have that internal dialogue with the text as you read it, and it makes it easy. It makes it natural, which is the key, natural, and it makes it easy to digest. Okay. I like to keep things simple. I think it's important, and that goes with the last point, is knowing your audience. It's really, you have to write in the language of your audience. I write in the language of people. And that's why I keep it simple, because if we're having a conversation, you and I, and you ever have a conversation with someone and they're throwing out 50 big words that you don't understand and you want to gain some context on, but yet you're too afraid to ask. I don't want that situation in the writing. Not that I don't want people to have to stretch their vocabulary. That's great, right? You can look up words. Excellent. I don't want to alienate you. I'm gonna alienate some people. Some people aren't gonna like the conversational tone. Okay, that's me though. So that's the frame I'm choosing to take. I also want to be able to converse and connect with people who like that style, who like being very straightforward, who like having conversations at that tone, who like coming from that standpoint. And so that's why I go with it the way that I do. Okay, that's why I take that stance. So keep it simple, know your audience, write for that audience, write in the language of that audience. If the audience uses big words, then you may want to use big words. If the audience uses more statistics, then use more statistics. If the audience is more poetic, be more poetic. If it's for school, there's a mixture of those things you have to do. If you're writing a paper, I like to start off with an interesting way, as well as very introductory, very much a thesis style, mapping out what this is going to be on. Yet I don't like to start off any paper, any book, any blog post, any email with something that is completely and utterly dry. I don't suggest it for anything. Again, even for research papers, there are interesting ways for you to present your topic out of the gate. I apologize if my voice is going a little downhill. Again, a little under the weather, so I have halls I have here, so I'll be having one of these in a moment. The last piece, I'm sorry, I know, big gusts of breath. I'm struggling a little bit. Tamara, this goes back to you. Sorry to leave this into the end here. Hope that you got to this point. Your headaches, and I was sitting there thinking, as I continue to, I looked at some articles this morning. I was suggesting that, because we had that conversation about how, while your vlog is very much, life as a family with cerebral palsy, you like self-improvement, self-empowerment, self-help. That's what you really are interested in. You like entrepreneurship. You like what Evan does. You like what I do. You like what some of the other channels do. I would say that I think you should start because we're talking about your website. I think you should start some pieces on your headaches and how has affected, kind of take people on that journey of how that's affected your mindset, your life, your character. Because it's very impressive. Not that I'm, I had some particular view of you. I mean, for the average viewer, reader, I think when someone hears that someone has a chronic headache, they're expecting one thing. And in reality, it can be something completely different. Elias, what's going on? I saw the viewer thing pop on. I'm actually going to get off of here soon, or someone hopped on here. I'm wrapping up soon, so keep that in mind. But yeah, when you write about, when you think of someone who has constant headaches, you think of one person. I think of someone who's grumpy, who's angry, who's miserable, who's ineffective. And I don't get that from you. You're very good at what you do. You guard your time, you guard your circle, you guard your environment. And that is very useful information for anyone, whether they're going through a situation or not. And so I think that's an opportunity for you to be more involved in the self-help kind of space. I think you should write some occasional blogs on your experiences with your headaches. I know you do videos with them. I think the vlog will give folks an opportunity to give them some deeper insights from you, some lessons from you, and then talk about your journey of curing it. I think that's another great niche for you. Do some research, of course, in terms of keywords and other pieces that may have gotten some great attention. See how they promoted those pieces. Take a look at their audience. I think there's opportunity there, and I think it's more related to self-help, so it may be interesting for you. Let me know how that works for you if you have any questions about that, but I think that's a great opportunity for you. Bring your solutions to it, bring your perspective to it, bring your story to it, and bring that energy to it. That same energy you have that allows you to share within the comments and the videos, bring that to the piece. I think you'll get some folks interested. And yeah, that's what I have. Make sure that you all leave any questions for me to be addressed in the next video or through the week. I think someone is here. I'm assuming it's you, Elias. I'm actually wrapping up, man. I see the viewer thing going in and out. I see it hopping on 1, and then it goes down to 0. So I was trying to hang on there with you. Let's see. Okay, I was trying to see if there are any notes or comments here in the group before I hopped off. I think my voice is a bit spent though at the moment. So, all right, I'm gonna roll on to the next deal. Busy day ahead, getting ready for. I'm speaking next week. It's called the 72 Hours of 72 Hours of Power event. So literally, it's a 72-hour live online broadcast. I'll send out links. You guys will get information. You can catch me on there. There's literally a 72-hour window in which I will be online at some point. I think a couple times, maybe even a few times. I'm gonna be there on set as long as I can, and I'll be trying to network as much as I can, smooth, rub elbows as much as I can. So I'm excited. It'll be a good time, a great opportunity to grow for me, great opportunity to connect with a wider audience, and all in all, have fun doing what I feel like I'm supposed to do. So I'll post some links on that. Make sure you all stay posted. That's all. Make sure that, as usual, you all treat each day as a building block to a better future. Peace, y'all.